Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, another installment of Optimize the Game right here on the OTV Media Network. I am here, E Glaze, and the birthday guy, Bobby. Jay is in the building, man. Ooh,
Four.
5-4, boy. That five.
Four.
Remember how we didn't think we was in our three start? Now we in
Then
the
our
now we
threes.
in five, boy.
Now
We
we
in
in
the
five.
five. But
Heavy in the
nah.
fives.
Hey, Bobby, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna jump just into it, man. Life has always given. And the reason why I brought this up, you brought a topic up to me a while ago, not a while ago, about last week,
Mhm.
the thing going on in Minnesota, where
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the lady was driving and ICE said that I was threatened and they took her out. And it made me think. We always talk about trying to do things when everything is just a focus point, when everything is quote unquote going well. But
Hmm.
when you're in a place of chaos, which I
Yeah,
feel personally this country is in a place of chaos. Our
sure.
community has to deal with the chaos, and we've always dealt with chaos. But when you're in a state of chaos, how do you stay focused? How do you stay focused on the main goal? Because life, unfortunately, never stops. It's still going. You wake up the next morning, guess what? Bills. You can't call many people and say, I can't do this. I can't do that. I got to stop here. Can you not foreclose? Because they're going to be like,
Uh,
I looked at the first. This is what we agreed upon according to this contract.
right.
We're going to break down some points today. We want to get focused on it because we don't want to say we got all answers, but we also wouldn't be right if we didn't step and say this is some things that we need to talk about. Because look, when we do our events with our children and our programs, life ain't always roses. We have to figure things out. And that's when we step up and say, all right, we still got to get this done. So let's
Yeah.
ask the first question to you, man. How do you stay focused on the main goal during chaos?
We won't go into details right now because you and I talked offline. One of I think the best quotes I've ever heard, and I think it was actually attributed to Douglas MacArthur,
Yeah,
that when you're going through hell, keep going.
keep going.
Like that's and that's not to say that we don't need time to rest and recuperate and meditate sometimes and slow down. But when you're in the midst of it, when it's like when that hell is really on you financially, physically, politically, we got to keep going through because if we stop, we're just going to sit in it. I know they talk about. I'm not a seafarer. I'm not a naval man. But they talk a lot of times about when they hit those storms, and they don't anchor in, they plow through.
That's a
They
great
plow
point.
through. You
Yeah.
know, um, you can rest on the other side. So,
I ain't never thought about that like that because if you a storms hit you in the ocean, you can't just say, all right, we're gonna stop right here and let it we gotta go through it, man. That is a great I ain't never thought about that. No, it's one of those things where we always you see the oh the ship's if the ship doesn't keep moving, it's gonna eventually flip over. And I think
capsize. That's right.
it's gonna capsize. And I think, damn, you just messed me up with that. Hold on. Let me take that in for a little bit because it, I guess I mean I'm picturing the boat. I'm picturing a
Yeah,
boat,
yeah.
and you see all the movies when they always on the ocean and it's flipping. They never say, you know what? It's a good idea. Stop right here and see if
Right,
we can anchor ourselves in this water. It's like no, we got
right.
to flow through it, man. And I think that's
That's right.
a great way to look at things because if not, you got one decision. You can sit there and try to get through it and sit in the stew, but like you said, usually it's gonna just wreck you out, man. It's kind of like if you know you somewhere in a place of danger and you just sit there in a scary movie, you got to keep
Yeah,
running, keep finding
right,
until you can find somewhere else. And
right.
and looking at certain things, man, that makes me look back on us, Bobby, as our people. Um, there have been so many times we could have anchored, and my
Yeah,
fear is I see people trying to anchor and stew in certain things
right, right.
instead of keeping going and keeping focused. What
And it's
key?
important. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I like that. Go ahead. Feed off of that.
Well, and it's important, and I want people who are listening, those who are watching, to understand we're not saying there's never a time to anchor.
Yeah.
There's absolutely a time to sit still. Sometimes, even, when the eye of the storm, that sometimes, all right, we got to breathe for a second. We know this storm is here and we're sitting in it, but the safest place for me to be right now is in this basement, sitting still,
Yeah.
um, and let the storm just do what it does. So we're not saying, hey, don't lock yourself down sometimes, don't stop sometimes, and get yourself together. But as honest as I can put it, I look back on my own life, my 54 years, Glaze, and a lot of the times my movement was, or my non-movement, even more so, my non-movement, my sitting still. We like to say, oh, I'm being focused, or I'm meditating, or I'm waiting for the Lord to speak, or whatever. No, you were scared.
Scared.
And when you don't operate because you're scared, or when you're not moving out of fear, that's a problem. You're not being
Exactly.
wise.
Right.
Yeah, you're not being spiritual. You're scared. And if you're scared, say you're scared. That's okay. But don't put it on some entity like you're so pious and almighty. That's why I'm sitting here in the midst. No, no, you scared. Make a decision. Do something instead of just, blaming everybody else because I'm just going to wait for the Lord to speak. I'm sorry. I'm going to get off that soapbox real quick. But yeah, yeah,
We talked about truth last week. Sometimes you got to face that
yeah.
truth, man. Sometimes
No,
you need to be like, I'm scared, dog.
I'm
When
scared.
you,
Yeah,
if a tornado come and they tell you to get in the basement, yeah, you can move down there, but you shaking, you hurt, you worried. You just hoping that this structure, this inside structure fix is going to protect you during this.
yes,
But I do think in all things, the biggest thing that no matter what the chaos is this is when you have to step up with discipline and clarity. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because even when the
yeah,
storm is coming, you got the decision to keep a ship going through the storm, a
yeah.
decision to anchor yourself in a lower room. Those are the people you need to have running the leadership. So my second question to you: discipline versus reaction.
Ah, um, that's good. That's really good. I'm not an absolutism person. Like I don't deal in absolutes. I think there's a time for both.
Okay.
Um, well, what I will say though is the discipline comes when it's not stormy.
Mm.
So you see somebody, you're like, why he out there, cutting wood, and it's sunny out here. It's about 80 degrees. You're out there chopping wood. Yeah, because it's not 22 degrees outside. This is the time I need to be disciplined when everything
Yeah.
is smooth and great. Because when it hits, and it's going to hit, you're not reacting out of fear or out of turmoil. You're reacting out of training.
Yeah.
um, that discipline is now kicked in to do what you've been doing the whole time. You woke up in March, you cut wood. In April, you cut wood. In July, you cut wood. In October, you cut wood. So when December hit and everybody's scrambling around for wood, you're like, well, I just did what I did. I'm warm, I'm safe, I can cook my food. But that's where discipline comes in. Most of us we react because we haven't done the training. We
Yeah.
haven't put in the time to say, well, if this happens, when this happens, how do I respond to it? We teach our kids, all right, you get pulled over by the police, this is what you should do. That's good. That's
Yeah.
discipline. Don't wait till they get pulled over. You get the phone call like the lady in Minneapolis. Um, and let me clarify, that is not me blaming her for what happened.
All right.
Let me be real clear. That is not me blaming her for what happened. What I do understand is that when you're dealing in an undisciplined environment out here, like a lot of these fake cop, faux officer people are, you better be disciplined
Right.
because if not, it can turn into utter chaos, which is what we
Yes.
see happen.
I think also when you see that, you always training like a boxer. You always train for everything until, like they say, that first punch come, and then what is
Yeah,
your reaction to that? And when it comes
right,
to discipline versus reaction, you're going to react to something. Always
right.
going to be a time when you react, but how you I love the way you said that you prepared yourself for this.
Yeah.
It's always, you can always tell a leader not when it's calm, because everybody can do it when it's everything is working, the numbers are matching up, people are in line. When you get that first punch, when you get that first pain,
Yep.
what happens? How do you react? Do you panic? One of
Yeah.
my favorite scenes in I'm a Batman guy is the Dark
For sure.
Knight,
Yeah.
the third one,
Okay.
and you saw the chief or the commissioner, not the chief, maybe it was the chief. When it was time to get down, he stayed in the house. He was like, Bane running everything. Boy, they
Right.
knocked on his door like, you ready?
No.
He gonna
No.
blow. He gonna blow the city up. Then towards the end, he steps up and yeah, he took a bullet at the end. But it's always about how you react at the time, and that just goes to his discipline. When everything was cool, he was at all the events, the functions. And I
Yeah.
think when it comes to our community, it's we know chaos is always gonna come.
Right around the corner.
But what discipline have you been doing to build yourself up to that? So when it's time to react, how do you react? And that's the biggest thing. And that's what we always want to look. How do we react to these things?
And when I'm teaching chess, because it's a
Oh,
lot of times it's about that. It's about, and I tell my kids, or my students, not even kids all the time. Sometimes you dealing with CEOs and
yeah, yeah,
professional athletes, and you do something and they just blah. And I say, hey, stop reacting, respond. There's a difference. If I put my hand on the stove and it's hot, I better react or I'm gonna have third-degree burns. That's a good time to react. If my
yeah,
child is running out into the street and when traffic is coming, that's a good time to react.
yeah,
If somebody cuts you off in traffic, you might want to respond by going, you know what, maybe they're having a rough day. That's a response. And you
yeah,
back off. A reaction in that situation, if 10 police officers approach you with their guns drawn, you want to respond. Reacting at that moment may not be the best thing,
yeah.
but it's difficult not to react when we haven't been through a training that teaches us how to respond. So it's a catch-22, but
Yeah. But you know what, Bobby, also in this day and time, I think a lot of the reactions and I'm not saying blame, again, we're not blaming anybody for anything, but when you see
right,
a certain reaction when things happen, you be like, who taught you to react that way?
right,
Who is teaching you that you need to, we see this could end up bad. And,
yeah,
I've told you things I've seen in the neighborhood where I'm looking and I'm like, all right, I know you don't, I know you want to respond in a negative way. I know, but don't react. And then you react anyway and you be like, that ain't what I
right.
need you to do right now. I didn't need you to do that right now. I need you to just be, and all of that. And I think sometimes we have allowed society to tell us the wrong things and we're not internally teaching reaction and discipline like we should.
Can I
So
can I give you an example
yeah,
on a personal level? When I was about, God, I don't know, I was young. I was in my 20s. As a 20-year-old black man, let's just put it that way. Um, Out here being stupid, riding through the city of Atlanta, no license got suspended.
yeah,
Da, 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 knew I had tickets out there, didn't get it taken care of. Okay, came across a roadblock, dude.
oh
Now,
boy,
mind you, I had just dropped my daughter off at my mother's house. Her mom was in the car with me, so my baby mama wife now it was in the car with me, and she's in the passenger seat. We hit this roadblock. Now, what should you do as a 20-year-old black man when you hit a roadblock and you know your license is dirty? Sure, Bobby. What you should do is just like, all right, look, this is what's about to happen. It's probably
yeah,
not going to turn out well. I'm gonna have to just
it's
go,
not.
let my mom know. Da, da. No, you know what Bobby did? Bobby hops out of the car and
He did.
begins to walk the other way, walk/run the other way, leaving his baby mama in the car. Reaction, because fear kicks in. And for the most part, fear is either fight, flight, or freeze. And I chose the flight. And this is what happens when you don't have any training. When nobody has sat you down and say, look, When you deal with the police, this is do X, Y, Z. Now, at 50, well, 45, 50, when I got pulled over for had nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah.
Wasn't my name. They ran my license plate, saw it wrong to a Robert Jackson, and said, you have a warrant for your arrest in Philadelphia. Philadelphia? Okay. And I point blank told, he said, I'm going to need you to step out of the car. I said, all right. When they tell you to step out of the car because you've been trained, you know what this is. I'm not fighting this out here. All I'm thinking about is I got to get my son home from basketball practice. I have to figure that out later.
Right.
Put my hands around him. He was like, yeah, I know. I'm under arrest. Let's just handle it through. He puts me in the back of the car, runs the license through, and comes back. Oh, Mr. Jackson, I'm sorry, it's not you. It was some 5'6" guy, 180 pounds. No, that ain't me. He lets me go. I apologize, Mr. Jackson. Hey, it's good. Have a good day, officer. You be safe. And I went on about my way because by that point in my life, I had been disciplined enough and gone through different trainings to say, now I know how to respond to a situation. 20-year-old me just knew how to react.
Yeah.
But 50-year-old me understood how to respond because the training built up to that point made it so.
It's very interesting that happens because we've all had that heartbeat moment, I call it, where you're sitting there like,
For sure.
Do I? And it's always, the show Cops back in the day?
Yep.
I used to always ask, why are you running? If the cameraman is keeping up with you, they gonna catch you. If the cameraman is right there, he's not far off. What think you do outrun these cops, man? It is always funny that you say that because our first reaction is to get away because we think that if we can get away, we can do that. But like you said, discipline takes us that, and which brings me to my third point.
Mm-hmm.
How do you protect the vision when pressure increases?
You started off this conversation talking about how do you stay focused in the time, on the vision or on the goal in a time of chaos. I think the first and most intimate point in that statement is you got to have a vision first. Like that's the first thing, because when your vision is, I'll tell that story later. When the vision is, I got to get home to my family, because that's the key. It doesn't matter. And I know that, okay, I'm in storytelling mode. So, our boy, we out one night. Shout out to Greg. What up, dog? And Greg is a superhero, man. I'm going to tell you. Greg has a way of, borderline superhero. So we're at a spot and we're watching the game. But at the end of this bar, these two ladies are being harassed. Guys are, they're drunk and they're going crazy. And so Greg basically looks at me and goes, "Hey, you see what's happening?" I say, "Yeah, I see it." He's like, "Okay, follow my lead." I'm like, "What? Hold on, bro." Well, he just kind of walks in and starts talking to the girls, intervening, but not really saying anything to the guys, but just kind of schmoozing in on the conversation to separate them. And the guy is like really getting furious at this point. He cussing Greg up and down and up. So I'm standing kind of in between, like, the bodyguard. I ain't saying much. I'm just like, but my training says defuse. We all black men in this place. He drunk, his boy drunk. We sober. We just talking. And I said, "Hey, brother, it's good." I said, "He's okay. You fine. We don't mean no disrespect." And after a while, this guy is cussing us out so hard. And he looks at me and he goes, I'm going to watch my language. He said, "But what's up with you and all this positivity?" And the whole bar did just what you did. Everybody just started laughing. But I leaned in and I told him, I said, "Brother," I said, "I got a job. My job is to get home.
Yeah.
I want you to make it home. And if we keep down this road, a couple of things going to happen. Either I'm going to hurt you and you're not going home, and I'm not going home because I'm going to be locked up and you going to jail or a grave, or you're going to hurt me and I'm not going home because I'm going to a grave or a hospital and you going to jail. I just want us to get home. That's it. That's my goal. So whatever it takes for us to get home, that's what I'm trying to do." And at that point, his buddy went, "Hey, man, If I get him out of here, are we cool? We got no problems, brother. But again, it's having a vision. It's knowing, hey, I know what I'm here to do. I'm not here to go to jail. I'm not here to die. I'm trying to get home to my family.
Yeah.
And once that vision becomes clear, nothing's going to separate you from that.
And you know what's funny? During my journey, and I told you this story many times, chaos
Mhm.
doesn't always mean like pain, I guess. It could also be in times of a joyous occasion. You done got a little too
Oh.
happy and you doing some things. Quote unquote, 45-year-old birthday me. I'm at the club.
I can
I
neither
got
confirm or deny that I was there, ladies and gentlemen.
I got bottles. I'm up thinking I'm thinking, you couldn't tell me nothing. I'm a rap star today because everything hanging out. So
And
at the
he
time,
was.
we had just kicked off Optimized Division. We got Crush going, but I don't care. Birthday day. Everybody taking, camera phones were getting strong back then. So I'm partying. And the first thing I do, because I'm in the social media, everything I do had to be on social media. I'm slapping me picture with two bottles in my hand on social media. Guy that rarely we ain't talked in years. He know what I'm doing. He texted me. He say, "Hey, bro." No, he calls me saying, "Hey, happy birthday. I see you. I just want to ask you one question, man." He said, "Do you think the CEO of Optimized Division should have bottles in his hand in the picture?" Delete.
Clear vision. Clear vision.
Because at the time it was a situation, even though it might not look like chaos, it was
Right.
a moment of weakness and non-discipline. And that wasn't protecting the vision. Because there are pictures of me in my old days where I got like a little glass in my hand. You wanna know what it could be Kool-Aid or tea, and you don't know what it is in my hand.
You know what them
But
bottles were.
yeah, but them bottles were very clear because I didn't have them turned the other way, and they weren't shaped like soda cans. They were. It was so bad. I googled myself one time. And I ain't gonna tell y'all through that, but it was on there. I was like, I tell you. But that was a
Ah,
learning situation that even in times of no matter what the chaos is, it could be good
that's right.
chaos.
That's right.
What I got say, past God rest his soul, good trouble, as they say back
Good
in the
trouble.
day.
Yup.
But you have to be able to be disciplined to keep your vision going because you never know when something or someone could see that they could change the way your vision is seen going forward. All right, a
I'm
few more
so
things.
glad. I'm so glad you. I got to pause you on there for 2 seconds because it's important for us to understand that again, what chaos don't always look like chaos.
Yeah.
Um, he or she can dress up real nice, smell real good, look very appealing. Wow, that's chaos, and it feels great. But it keeps coming back to the same word, and we repeated it about 40 times now. Discipline.
Because
It's
you
the
never know.
discipline.
You could
No,
be you could be running for the state, the governor of a state, and you could be done fell asleep somewhere you ain't supposed to fall
Flo-
asleep.
Florida.
And them camera phone boy, they will get you hurt. Your whole career could be in by not being disciplined.
Yep.
So I got one more question, and then we'll finish and wrap this up. And this is when it comes to our energy in times of chaos,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of us, um, the purpose of this show, because it could be a 2 or 3 part show, we might come back again to it, is to just start saying we see that when chaotic things happen, how you react and how you go after things
Mhm.
is there. But how do you lead in uncertain times? How do you focus? So let's say we're going through this now. We are seeing that um, the country has a new police force that we didn't know we was getting a part of. We see
No.
that gas prices, and not gas price, but food is high, and the job market is unstable. But you want people to continue to focus on building themselves, building their community, building their homes, and things of that nature. How do you lead in these certain times? Because people hope is not a strategy, but
Right.
how do you keep them focused and disciplined at the same time to continue to say it's hard today, but guess what? Tomorrow always happen, or whatever it happened. How do you keep them disciplined in this time, Bobby?
Um, I one of the first, I guess, church billboards I ever read in my life. You know, they put the sign up on the marquee about what the sermon gonna be this week. One of the first ones I remember said, "I would rather see a sermon than hear one any day." And so, as a leader, let's take it small, micro, and then we'll take it to macro. That I can't ask my children to do X, Y, or Z, and I'm doing the opposite. If I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna need you to study hard, I'm gonna need you to work well, I'm gonna need you to be disciplined in your actions, and daddy out there drunk, high, ain't got no job, and ain't getting no degree, what am I talking about? I can talk all day, it don't matter. So if we extrapolate that out, whether you're a mayor of a city, a head of a nonprofit or a for-profit organization, CEO, or the head of a country, again, we keep coming back to this word, dude, that your discipline is going to have to show up, because that's what's going to move people. When we're talking about sales, I was teaching some kids sales pitches the other day, and I told them, I say, I don't really care about your product. It doesn't matter what you're selling, because I can go buy a product, go buy lemonade anywhere. What I'm buying is your story. What is your story? And your story is about, what have you done? What are you doing? It's an action word. So I don't really care what you tell me. I'm watching how you move. I'm watching how you operate. And when I see a glaze, and I'm like, man, you mean I can all right, whatever. We can go ahead. We're going to own our own media station. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, you can be trying to get on the radio like everybody else. You can be trying, but I'm watching Glaze. I'm watching him. And I'm like, dude, this man been at this for like a decade. And he got his own. And hey, bruh, knock. How you do that? That's it. He ain't preached to me. He ain't said a word to me. He's just been consistent in his action, and consistent action equals one word: discipline.
Yeah,
I
think that's a perfect way of saying it. Dang, boy, you're killing me with these quotes today. Seeing a sermon and not hearing one. That's fantastic.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Dolan Lewis, man. That was my Papa Dolan. That's the first person I heard that from.
I mean, because you think about it, I've always respected people who I've been able to just see, and I'll be like, dang, man, everything he do seems to be in motion. Now, I always call it the swan thing. I don't see the feet doing this.
Right.
I just see
like you just
gliding across the water. I don't see this. I'm trying to get it. Because and it's not pretending. Like we always talk about, one of the greatest people, we talked about Greg, one of the best people I know, because I know this authentic Greg. I know what you're hearing is he really believes everything he's talking about. And I don't, whatever whatever. He's a superhero to us. We know Greg.
Exactly.
He's the type that would be like in a fight. Hey, I gotta go do something. No, you don't. No, dog, this ain't a fight. Oh, this ain't not a fight.
Right.
This ain't a fight.
Okay, here we go.
I guess it is our fight. Here we go. I want to expect this at 12 on a Wednesday or a Monday. Right. Let's do it. And it's about movement. And the best thing I can tell you, if you are a leader or people look at you as a leader, don't stop being a leader. Continue that fight. Continue doing what you're doing, because people are going to be pulling on you at these times. What should we do? What do we do? I've always looked at these guys that no matter how they try to depict them against each other, I always looked at how they moved in certain times. King, X, Garvey. When they were in these situations, how did they move? Where they thought they were bigger than the situation, or they were entrenched in the situation? How did they move? Because there's always times you can quit. And there's always times also in this day and time where you can just say, you know what, I want to be like that so I don't get pressure put on me. Sometimes everybody can't do that, because people are going to need you to be there when everybody can't just turn face and be one side. Because
exactly, leadership is really about doing the right thing when nobody else thinks it's the right thing. Yeah. Like when everybody else wants to go the wrong way and you're the only one standing in it, and all right, I'm gonna catch some heat on this one. They ain't gonna like me too much. But and even more important than doing the right thing is doing the righteous thing.
Yeah.
I would tell you, you're right. The Kings, the Malcolms of the world, the Garveys, the Amos Wilsons of the world, the John Henry
Yeah.
Clarks. And I would tell you somebody that I have to put them in a leadership category again, not because of what they said, but just because how they operated. Fred Rogers, dude, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah.
That again, a man of principle, who stood up to major heat, in everything that he did, and never wavered, man.
Yeah, he's the
That's
same every day.
leadership.
Yeah.
Every day, just consistent in his actions, just
Yeah.
consistent in his actions, and that's the thing that creates leadership for me, man. In all the chaos that he dealt with in the '60s and '70s and
Yeah.
early '80s, for him to stand in front of Congress like he did and single-handedly save public television,
Yeah.
unheard of, unheard of.
A leader never has to be say that he's a leader. You already know it when you see him. You already.
Yep.
Yeah, I know he's the guy. He's the
Yep.
one.
That's the
And
dude.
we'll finish with this, man. And I just want to thank you for coming as always. Happy birthday, number 54. Um,
5-0. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that.
as we go forward, man, in these times when people, and that's why I always, when people come to me saying they want to do a nonprofit, I say, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for the funds? Are you doing it for you trying to do something to get a little side something going? You want because you want to feel good, not because something you're doing to feel good, because you want to feel good. What are
Right.
you doing it for? Because there will be chaotic times, and when
Mhm.
people approach me and they say, "Man, I want to do this," I say, "What's your purpose? Is it a passion for you? Is it something that you?" And then I say, "What if it doesn't happen that way?" Again, our
Right.
guy Jay Bailey asked me, "What are you trying to do?" I said, "I want to do
Yep.
this." He said, "Do that." And
Yeah.
here we go, 6, 7 years later, we're still doing that.
Doing that. That's right.
What would you challenge leaders today who want to think they want to be leader or they want to do something in a leadership role? Because when chaos comes, some people can step up to continue leadership, and some people are going to be like you said, they're going to jump out the car and walk the other way.
Leave the baby mama to deal with 5 and 12. Like, that's about the current state of leadership in this country. I swear to
Yeah,
God.
right. You know what? Excuse me. But when people want to step into that leadership role, what do you tell them about this time when chaos hits?
um, I guess maybe to put a bow on this whole thing, the first thing I would suggest for them, um, is to have the vision. Like, have a
Yeah.
vision. It ain't got to be. We always talk about the difference between sight and vision.
Mm,
Anybody with eyes can have sight.
yeah.
If your cornea and your lenses are working okay, you can see. But vision doesn't require that. Stevie Wonder has vision. Ray Charles had vision. So it doesn't require you to physically be able to see anything to have a vision. And that vision ain't for every. It's for you. That's yours. It was given to you for a reason. Now to back that up, once you have that vision, have the discipline to respect that vision, because that's what's going to carry you through the chaos. That's what's going to keep you strong when it gets crazy out here. And the last thing I would say to anybody who dares, to take up the mantle of leadership, and I don't care if it's in your house, it's just you and your spouse, and notice I'm not making this a gender thing. If it's you and your spouse and your kids, if it's your business, if it's your classroom, as a leader, have some nuts about yourself. Have a backbone. Have a spine. Stand up for something. Even when people don't understand and they think oh, that's too controversial, or you're being too whatever. That's your vision, and at some point you're going to have to stand on that and make a decision about whether you're going to keep it going or you're going to sell it out to the highest bidder. So
Yeah.
that would be my suggestions.
And I ended with this. I've had situations personally with deciding with these opportunities. Am I a billionaire? Nope. A millionaire? Nope. But I know there's something here. And I
Yeah.
appreciate when we get the chance to do things because your passion will have to be outbig your profit sometimes. I hate when I see people who get into certain things, and the minute things go well, they lose the passion. The profits
Yeah.
take over, and then
Yeah.
eventually the system breaks down. So
Right.
when chaos hits, my only thing to you is like Bobby said, don't allow your passion to burn out because it will keep you going through it. Um, about 3 years ago, I almost let all this stuff go because I was done. I was frustrated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But eventually the passion went out. So when chaos hits, this is the time when everybody needs you if you're in a leadership role. If you're not, and leadership can be for yourself. How do you
Yeah.
lead
Yeah.
yourself in these situations? If you want to be leading your own life, lead it. Don't go off your principles and things of that nature. Just find a way to fall back on your discipline, your focus, and your mentals. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we'll see. We'll come back to this because we're gonna get into some deeper topics because there are
For
things
sure.
about what being done. Like Bobby has, his principles and name of the game that I really appreciate, and we have principles here at Optimize Division. And at the end of the day, we're gonna say this: you're needed. You're there for a reason,
Yep.
and chaos is not the time to jump ship. Usually, the captain is the last one to fall. When everybody else is jumping off, the captain is
That's
like,
right.
"Y'all get on the boats first. Let me
Yep.
make sure everybody's safe. If not, I go down with the ship, man." So,
That's right.
my boy Bobby
I,
J, go ahead, man.
I
Finish
got.
up.
Can I sign off? I got to sign off with one thing, man. I have to. You know, I'm always popping difference. Um, so this is one of the TSK shirts, man, and I had to wear it today.
I've been waiting for that shirt, but go ahead though. But
Oh my bad. Yeah. This. Yeah. You know what? So.
yeah, I know that shirt.
uh,
I like that shirt.
but yeah, this is our school, which is Tamu Sana Kiyama Preparatory Academy of Creative Arts and Media Technology, or TSK Prep. It is named after one of the greatest women that I know,
Yep.
Mama Tamu. Um, and I will just say this, that she's reaching a point in her world where it may be time for her to leave us. And so, out of love and honor and respect, for one of again, outside of my own birth mother, one of the greatest women that I've ever had the pleasure of coming across. I will never call her name as a was. She will always be an is, because
Is
energy, yeah, energy never
it never
leaves.
dies.
It never dies. It just transforms.
Yep.
So love and respect to Queen Mother Tamu. We will see you in the ethers. We love you. We bless you, and we respect your name into eternity and beyond.
And I've personally met her multiple times. I ditto that, and thank you for the lessons you've taught. I think you might be a family cousin too, but we keep going with that. So,
Very good. Yeah, we don't get that bloodline a lot one day.
all right, man. So for my boy Bobby J, this is E Glaze. Thank you for watching Optimize the Game. Clips all week. You know how we do. Y'all still be
Yeah.
here. Y'all like
Capricorn
him.
season.
Y'all like him. So we'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one.
Peace, y'all.